I've always hated your high and mighty attitude. I'm going to tell you directly. I won't leave the house, and I will listen."
My mother-in-law said with a look of disbelief on her face. "Whose house is this? And who are you thanking for being able to make it a home?" She doesn't even understand that thing. Even though she is my husband's moth, have my limits. I can't handle this self-centered mother-in-law any longer. I slowly opened my mouth, ready to all.
"I see. Then I'll gladly leave."
She still doesn't know. What kind of consequences awaits her this? My name is Miranda, and I just celebrated my 30th birthday. I have been married to my husband for years. My husband's name is Robin, also 30 old. We met through work and have been married while working continuously our marriage. But just the other day, my husband from the company he was working for, he had been looking for a job for some time, and he started to take it seriously. Normally, he would be looking for work while working, but it's hard to find something to do so. So my husband resigned from the con, has been working hard to find a new. He put all the severance money he from his former company into a joint with me. He doesn't touch it, and now we make our living from my salary. My husband and I had an ordinary, and peaceful marriage. I did not doubt that this life would forever. Then one day, my husband came home from work and me.
"Miranda, my mom is in trouble.
"What's the matter, Robin? You're in such a hurry."
I just got the call that mom fell due stairs and had to be rushed to the center."
"What, Lucia?"
My husband's mother, Lucia, is 65 now. She divorced Robin's dad when Robin was still young and raised him by herself. For such a mother-in-law, my husband must have been the love of her life. I knew from the moment I went to her wedding that she didn't think much of me. That's why I remember how relieved I felt when I was finally able to live on my own. However, the separation from my moth had taken its toll on us this time. If we had lived with her, she might have been injured. My husband seemed to feel the same way too. Even in the cab on the way to the hospital, he had a pensive look on his face.
"I wonder if mom's okay. I heard she was conscious."
"I'm sure she'll be fine. The stairs parents' house aren't that steep."
"Yeah. Thank you, Miranda."
"No, I know how much you care for you."
My husband's back feels much smaller usual. Touching his back gently, we hurried hospital. When we arrived at the hospital room, my mother-in-law looked better than ever. She called out to us in a healthy act. No, she was waiting for Robin, not.
"Oh, Robin, you're here."
"Mom, I'm so glad you're okay. I was so shocked when I heard you fell down the stairs."
"I'm fine. I just stepped off and hit. They said I could be out of hospital in a few days."
"Well, that's good, but I don't know if it's okay for you to get out of the hospital so fast. Wouldn't it be hard to make a living went home now?"
At that time, my mother-in-law gave my husband a big smile, as if she had been waiting for that word.
"I'm thinking of staying at your place while I'm recovering from my hospitalization, because I'm in such a state and I don't feel comfortable being alone right now. Even if I stay in the hospital, the hospitalization would be ridiculous.
That may be true, but
I also don't want to be a burden to you and your wife. But Robin, you are the only one I care on now."
Mom?
I can understand what Lucia is trying to say. She raised her only son with her own hands. If something were to happen to her, it's understandable that my husband would be the one she could rely on. However, we have our own lives just the thought of living with Lucia, who dislikes me, chokes me up. However, this feeling I have nothing but selfishness. My husband's mother is in trouble. If this is the case, then it would be for me to accept her as Robin's wife. As I repeated these questions, my mother-in-law looked at me with a slightly triumphant expression.
"Hey, Miranda, there's nothing wrong living with you, is there? We are a family."
"Well, that's
Are you trying to force me into the hospital, Miranda?
No. If it's okay for you, we'd love you with us until you recover.
Yeah, Miranda agreed. So I'll be taking care of you for a while after I get out of the hospital.
My mother-in-law seemed to be happy, with a big smile on her face. He looked worriedly at me, but I forced myself to give him a fake smile. We took a cab again and headed back house. On the way home, my husband looked gloomy and said to me,
Miranda, I'm sorry. We were kind of forced into moving, Mom.
No, it's okay. It's just until your mother recovers.
But, I'm in the middle for a new job. You are taking care of me because I don't have an income. And now it's my mom who is taking care of me.
I'm working during the day, so I won't be able to deal with your mother.
If you're fine, then I'm fine. Too, would my mom say if I told her I'm for a job?
Oh, yes. Lucia seemed so happy that working for your former company.
my husband's former company is one most prestigious companies anyone heard of. The salary was good, and combined with my other income, it was more than enough for us to live on. Lucia seemed to be very proud of this. Whenever we met, she would bring it up and repeatedly tell Robin to send her some money from his good income. If my mother-in-law heard that he had the company, that would be a problem. After discussing it with my husband, we decided to keep Lucia from knowing that he had left the company until he found a new job. A few days later, Lucia was discharged from the hospital and moved in with us as planned. As it happened to be a Saturday, I drove to pick her up. We stopped at my in-laws' house to pick up a few things, and then my mother came over to our house. As soon as she entered our house, she scurried around and asked me,
Miranda, where will my room be?
Your room?
Yes, I'm going to live here for a while. Of course, I'll need my room.
No, but we don't have a very large, so I'm planning to have a space for mattress in the living room.
Huh? A mattress.
My mother-in-law changed her eye color and stared at me, then started to look down on me.
Miranda, who do you think I am? You have no common sense? How dare your mother-in-law like that?
But I bought the mattress for you.
I'm the type of person who needs a quiet room to get a good night's sleep. If all you have is a mattress, then your bed.
Lucia's selfish comment made even I open his mouth, but her momentum didn't stop, and she instantly got teary-eyed and appealed to Robin.
Robin, I know you will understand. My back is still not in perfect condition. Don't be such an ogre and tell me I sleep on a mattress.
But you cannot ask me to share Iran. It's our bedroom. What if I sleep on the mattress and Miranda sleep in the same room?
No, you could just rent out Miranda. That would be fine. Then I and Robin can sleep together.
My husband was so confused that he speak, and me either.
That would be fine, right?
I had no choice but to nod at my mother-in-law, who looked at me with a smile on her face.
Miranda, are you sure about this?
My husband asked anxiously, and I nodded reluctantly. I'd rather put up with it myself than keep talking about it. But here's where the real hell began. The next day, my mother-in-law took her selfishness out on me to the max. After my husband left first in the prepared breakfast for my mother-own, she said it was bad and not health. When I looked at my phone during my lunch break, she texted me that there were cakes. I received texts complaining endlessly about how I would dare to mother-in-law like that. Unable to ignore them, I responded one, but my mother-in-law was never satisfied with my replies. Furthermore, since she has come to us, the cost of living has increased dramatically. My mother-in-law is sensitive about food, but she also drinks. She even asks for an allowance regularly. Robin isn't around, The monthly living expenses for our had been about $2,000, but no $3,000. I didn't tell my husband about this. He wouldn't worry. But now, most of it goes to the household. However, I would like to keep my husband's retirement money untouched in case something happens. So, I tried to get by on my own without telling my husband about my frustration. However, no matter how hard I tried, my mother-in-law never understood. She doesn't know that my husband quit his job. She would never have imagined that only one who works for a living. Every time I came home from work, yell unreasonably at me, and I was overwhelmed. Then one day, I was walking down the street when I saw a man with a camera. He asked me if I wanted to be in his photo book. I said yes, so he took my picture and gave me his card. It was Saturday, and my husband was job fair for a potential employer. In the early afternoon, while I was cleaning up the house, my mother-in-law started to complain as usual.
It's really frustrating to watch you. Why do you have to be such a useless?
Lucia, I can do a whole range of house cleaning tasks, so please don't worry about it. I'm sorry to irritate you. So please to the other room.
What? You think I'm in the way?
No, that's not what I meant.
You can't do anything. That's why I didn't want to live with you.
What is she talking about? We didn't propose that she live with us. She said she was worried about being, so I had no choice but to accept. I think this is too unreasonable. Know how much I try to endure. Amidst a whirlwind of emotions, I stand it any longer and replied,
With all due respect, since you came to us, I too have been burdened in ways. So you can't talk to me like that.
Don't talk so high and mighty. You owe your life now to Robin, Don.
No, it's not. I'm telling you, the income of this right now is...
I've always hated your arrogant attitude. I'm going to live with my son, so, this house.
With that, my mother-in-law shoved her shoulder. I was holding the vacuum cleaner in one hand, and I fell on my buttocks with a mighty thud. Lucia was smiling happily at the sight of her newborn baby. As soon as I saw that expression, the emotions that had been suppressed in my mind began to flow out of me with great force. I couldn't believe it. How could she do this to me after be care of so much? Just because you don't know anything, you can't make fun of me. If that's what she wants, I leaven in myself. With that in mind, I slowly stood up and turned my face to my mother-in-law.
I see. Well then, I gladly leave. You said that I can leave, right? Then I will gladly leave.
I guess she didn't expect me to accept it easily. My mother-in-law was stiff, with a blank expression on her face. Without paying attention to my mother, I went to my room and started packing my belongings. As I was packing my luggage, I heard my husband's voice saying, "I'm home." I heard him shouting, so it seems like he has heard the whole story from my mother. When I showed up, he came in with a face.
Miranda, is it true that you're leaving?
Yes, your mother told me to leave.
Don't tell me that my mother has been complaining about you all this time.
Well, yes, she's been unreasonable. But I didn't want to worry you, so I kept it quite about it. I'm sorry.
Why? You should have told me earlier.
My husband told me so, but I do not burden him. As much as possible while the middle of his job search. And Lucia, who didn't even know that, continued to accuse me of,
Don't play the victim like that. I've been putting up with your stupidity.
Stupidity?
Because, thanks to Robin, I have such a good life, and you're a useless person who can't do anything.
My mother-in-law's words left me dumbstruck. Beside her, my husband looked pale, head in his hands, and mumbled.
Our life is finished.
At his words, my mother-in-law asked.
What?
My mother-in-law looked at him curiously, as if she had noticed something was wrong.
Robin? What are you talking about by our life is finished?
Yes, if Miranda were to leave now, be done.
What do you mean? I'm here, will be, and besides, we have your...
I quit my last job, and I'm looking right now, and Miranda has been supporting us all this way. Miranda's the one who's kept you going through everything, and you treat her like that?
Lucia probably never imagined that could make a living of us three. When she learned the truth, she looked at him with a cringing expression on her face.
I'm sorry, Miranda. I didn't know that. I mean, you should have told me in place. Then I wouldn't have had this misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding?
I'm so angry at the bottom of my heart that my mother-in-law tried to smooth things over. I forgot that my husband was there with my mother-in-law.
You've got to be kidding me. How do you think I have been living? I have endured every unreasonable thing that was said and done, and now you suddenly leave, and you're trying to make it out to misunderstanding.
Calm down, Miranda.
How can you tell me to calm down in situation? Who do you think got me into this mess? As long as you're here, I won't live house anymore. I won't spend any more of my earnings on someone who can't even appreciate me. I'm not going to continue being your HE anymore.
Lucia winced at my words for a moment, as if to pressure her, my husband see to her.
Get out of here.
Robin, what are you talking about? I'm your mother.
I don't give a shit. You tormented my precious wife. Someone like you, you're not my mother anymore. Now get out of my house.
No, but I can help you find one.
In the end, it was my mother-in-law who got kicked out of the house, not me. My mother-in-law cried and screamed at the front door, but when we continued to ignore her, she went back to her house. I haven't seen my mother-in-law since. She still calls us once in a while, and I still get daily emails from her, but the content is all ridiculous. At first, they were thin apologies, got angry that didn't respond, and is abusing me with all the messages. My husband was so angry that he stopped sending money to her and deleted her contact information. We are considering moving soon, so you'll never see my mother-in-law again. I wonder how my mother-in-law will feel that she has lost the only family she had left. I know for sure that she will not have a bright future ahead of her, but neither my husband nor I have any regrets. The end of my life with my mother restored peace in our marriage.
Miranda, I'm sorry, it's my fault.
Don't worry about it. It's not your...
Thank you. We're going to have a peaceful time together.
Yeah.
My husband saw my smile, so he smiled too. I hope this kind of time will continue long time. That is my current wish